week under the spotlight, it's A1 and Eternal.
I don't think that their behaviour was kind. I was on my own and I felt like they had each other.
If you haven't got anything good to say nothing. So there you go, hence the Bennett silence for over 15 years.
First up, it's Golden Girl group Eternal, who smashed the charts with hit after hit, selling a whopping 10 million records all over the world. They were the first female band to sell 1 million copies of their debut album in the UK, which spawned 6 hit singles and was nominated for a Brit Award. Their tally of 15 top 20 hits included one huge Mobo award-winning #1 single. Now, Esther, Vernie and Kelly are back and hoping to pick up where they left off. But it was back in 1992 that 4 girls were brought together by a producer who spotted a gap in the market for a female vocal group and took to the London club scene in search of talent.
I used to go to a club called Singers in town, performed or watched other performers, and then I dragged V along.
Found me singing in a nightclub.
And he was just basically looking for a 4-girl band group at the time.
He said he had another girl, which was Louise, and he wanted to put us in a band.
We got on really well at the beginning. It was more so sort of myself and Louise introduced us to Kelly.
And Eternal was born.
Louise and Kelly were friends who'd been to stage school together, but Kelly's first meeting with the sisters was rather tense.
The girls just seemed quite standoffish. I remember just looking at Lou thinking, oh, you know, have I done something here, or is there something I don't know?
We had been a 3-piece for a bit before Kelly came on, so we had kind of all gotten on, and then we had another member brought in.
I talked to Lou about it and I was like, is it me, or is this, you know, is this a bit hostile? I'm not really sure what's happening here.
I think when Kelly entered the group, she didn't feel that this was the group for her, and there's nothing nobody else can do about that.
For her, she may have felt a bit on the back foot because she's the last piece joining in.
I was thinking, oh, maybe the dynamic's already there and, you know, I'm a new person coming in and, you know, you're kind of thinking of all different reasons for it.
Maybe she did feel a bit sort of frosty, possibly, but it was oblivious to me at the time.
Stay, stay, stay with me tonight.
Despite the icy start, the combination proved a smash as their debut single rocketed to the upper reaches of the early 90s hit parade.
Our faces when we heard our name on the radio it was amazing.
We were just jumping around screaming and going, oh my God, our name was on the radio!
That's when the fun began.
This year's Best New Act.
It was a very exciting time. We went from no one's to someone's in like 5 minutes.
I'd just like to thank all of you for your support and thank God. Thank you very much.
At that age, you're just like, wow.
Our album has sold 1.2 million. Thank you.
It really was a roller coaster. You would be flying off in a private jet here, landing in the latest party in the park in a helicopter.
It was a whirlwind. We were just never home, and there were 2 or 3 TVs to do in one day.
Vernie, Esther, Louise and Kelly. Hello, nice to see you all.
Hi. Hi. The excitement of it, the whole buzz kind of catapulted from there, releasing single after single after single.
The foursome were in demand across the planet.
First, we'd go into a radio station and they'd play the song, go, oh, we have Eternal. And then we'd sort of say, hi, how you doing? And hello. And they'd go, oh, you're English? And say, yeah.
But while fans loved the group, they came up against distasteful attitudes from others.
In America, when we were recording, they were like, what's the white girl doing?
Southern states, they'd go, oh, well, that's not right.
In South Africa, it's a different spin again. It's like, oh, well, they can't sit on that table, but Louise can sit on that table.
Even at home in the UK, the band couldn't escape the race issue.
We did have a few challenges here, and we had to fight a lot harder to do certain things, certain TVs or certain magazines.
We can't have you on the front cover. Black people don't sell newspapers or magazines, so the answer's no.
Coming up, the groups enter meltdown mode.
I was aware that something would have to give along the way. It just wasn't going to be me.
And volatile departures.
It was devastating to lose a band member.
Riding high on the unprecedented success of their debut album Always and Forever, the Eternal Girls seemed unstoppable. But behind the success was an animosity that had been simmering like a bedpan on a gas hob since Kelly had joined. And for some, the strain was beginning to show.
Myself and Louise, everything we did it together. We got out for breakfast together, we went shopping together. Bernie and Kelly were more like in their rooms, secluded, they're two of them.
I did isolate myself. I know that I can most definitely identify that.
I was always a bit homesick on the first album. So when I went back to the room, I was going to get so upset. When I went back to the room, oh gosh, stupidness. I would always call home.
You go away for a long time and you've got suitcases and you're tired and you have a good day one day and then the next day you get homesick and then the next day you're tired again and all them kind of things build up for me and get me thinking, what am I doing?
The already troubled quartet were about to face another challenge, as Louise unexpectedly quit the band.
It was devastating to lose a band member.
There was never a thought of bringing another person in because no one can replace Louise. Emotionally, it was quite hard. She decided to move on, which was a really hard time for us, because that then opened up a can of worms. Does the group continue as a three?
At the time when Louise was making her decision, it was suggested that I go with her and that we formed a twosome. And it was a difficult decision.
The band became more fragmented when Louise left. I really thought that was an opportunity to pull together, but Kelly said that she would only stay for the money.
She made a statement of, well, it's a business thing for me now.
Yeah, I don't think Kelly realises how much that statement really hit home. We have a band member that doesn't want to be there, and what do you do with that?
I did think about it and I did struggle about it. I knew Louise's reasons for going. They weren't mine, they were hers, so that's why I stayed.
Eternal, you're doing really well, and then you say, right, that's it.
Yeah.
Why did you do that?
Between the four of us, you know, things just wasn't right. You know, we're still very good friends and we still hang out together, but we just wanted different things. I wanted to go off and try new things. The girls had what they wanted to do. And we're all really serious about what we want to do in the future. And it wasn't worth kind of me just staying there for the sake of it. I just wanted to get out and be happy.
3 months after Louise left, the girls relaunched as a trio, with a more well-defined R&B sound on the new single, Power of a Woman.
Even with all the confusion and all the disjointedness going on, I think we all felt really empowered by that song.
Gone were the baggy boyish pants, now it was all about PVC and flashing the flesh.
We tried to reinvent ourselves and put a different spin on the look of Eternal.
That was us coming from caterpillars to butterflies.
Bam, Power of a Woman, where you're really getting sexy. It's like, well, can you put the clothes on? Kind of a thing, yeah.
Their popularity hit new heights as their bootylicious reboot earned the trio acclaim.
Have they given you your double platinum discs yet? Have you got them?
No. You've got them.
And more awards from men in great suits.
Thank God and thank all of our parents, and we love you all. Thank you.
Eternal! After the loss of Louise, for the new three-piece Eternal, business had never been better.
Some of our most successful times were after Louise.
Girls, that's all out 1996. Congratulations.
By early 1997, Eternal had stepped up a gear with their new R&B sound, earning them 6 top 10 singles as a trio. On the surface, the girls seemed closer than ever.
Do
you kind of mix when you're not working, or do you see enough of each other when
We see enough.
We see
But we see each other every day, and like it's like we are friends. So if you go out to a concert and you're not working, it's like, V, coming down to see me in condition. She's like, yeah, I'll meet you there. So you do see each other because we are friends. It's not just about work.
But behind the scenes, tensions in the group were rapidly getting out of control.
It was pretty miserable. Communication had sort of broken down altogether. Sometimes not even a hello or good morning.
It was quite a lot of drama that kind of made me quite sad and very depressed and low.
I don't think that their behaviour was kind all the time, and that was challenging because I was on my own and I felt like they had each other.
Me and Esther were told by the record company and management Kelly had requested to record on her own and do her own thing. So that speaks loud volumes for me.
Kelly doesn't want to travel to America to do that recording. No, she wants to record in England. No, this is what she wants to do.
From album 2, where you're saying you're just staying for the money, to album 3, where you don't want to record with us, it's not a band.
Myself and V, we were gutted. In our lives there were lots of things going on and we never communicated. And that growing and growing and growing, it festered into something very ugly.
Against all the odds, girl power prevailed as the trio earned a coveted Mobo Award for their first #1 with an all-guns-blazing R&B anthem.
Yes, it's their first #1 with BB Winans, Eternal Love.
I mean, I didn't ever think it was going to last forever. I was aware that something would have to give along the way. It just wasn't going to be me.
And at #1, let's hope that we're around forever. The everlasting, eternal.
The Eternal Girl's success was at an all-time high, but so were tensions between the trio. With Kelly recording her vocals for the third album separately from the sisters, the band had reached breaking point.
After releasing such a big hit, I Want to Be the Only One, that went #1, and we were told that Kelly wanted to leave the group, and we just felt at that stage, we're just going to help you transition. So then, yeah, it was a case of just asking her to leave at that point.
I was fired by fax. How glamorous.
I know when I read the headline, Kelly sacked, that threw me.
It was sent to a lot of people, so it wasn't just me, it was sent to a lot of people in the industry, and so I was getting phone calls from people going, oh, where'd you got the sack? Thanks for that, great.
If you knew the history, what was going on behind the scene and her wanting to leave, for me it wasn't a sacking.
I was hurt because I didn't understand. There was no closure. I didn't understand what I'd done wrong.
So, what's the story? How much can you tell us?
I don't really know. I guess, when you see the girls, you have to ask them yourselves. I guess they weren't particularly happy. From the outside, it just seemed like Kelly's got issues and, let's get on with it ourselves.
The other two are sisters, aren't they?
Yeah.
So they're very close.
Yeah, very close.
So basically you had a professional relationship with them, but not really a close friendship.
No, I don't think on a personal level we're particularly close. If only I'd had the balls to just march into one of their rooms and go, oi, what's your problem with me? I mean, we would have, gone on and sold God knows how many more records. I just didn't. I wasn't strong enough. I didn't have the courage. I was too scared.
Now, 15 years, 10 million record sales, and a mantelpiece-busting quantity of shiny awards later, it's time to find out if the girls can bin off the animosity of the past. But if they can't learn from their former mistakes and talk to each other like actual human beings, their reunion could end with history repeating itself. Still to come. With their reunions looming, the bands reminisce about the good times and the rubbish ones, and look ahead.
Just being in the same room is going to be weird, and I am nervous about that.
Started off with 4 members, then we went down to 3 members, and then it was me and Auntie Esther, and now doing this whole show, we're going to go back to 3 again.
Well, aren't you going back to 4?
That's a tricky question.
Throughout the 1990s, the sweet sounds of Eternal dominated the charts, but the highs couldn't last always and forever, as resentment resulted in a bitter split that's still unresolved today. Since their separation 15 years ago, the sisters and Kelly have not spoken and have all chosen lives far away from the glare of the spotlight.
My gosh, we haven't seen Kelly in, what, 10 years, if not longer?
Has it been 10? I don't even know if it has been 10, to be honest.
Oh my God, I wonder what she's been up to and how life has treated her.
There's always two sides to the story.
We're not really the kind of people to go out and sort of say negative
Tell a
things.
story sort of thing.
Yeah, what does Mum say? If you haven't got anything good to say, say nothing.
at all.
So there you go, hence the Bennett silence for over 15 years, you know.
Kelly has swapped the glamorous life on the road for home life in rural England with her husband Jay and 2 young kids. If a newborn, a toddler and a drum kit weren't enough, Kelly also juggles motherhood with running her own talent agency from the spare room.
Go and play with your animals. Hiya, hun. Did that contract go off for?
That's all sorted. Yeah, we're all up to date on that.
It's hectic sometimes because we're trying to separate work from home, and that can be a little bit tricky sometimes. I'll chat it through with him and then I'll come back to you. But then you've got to look at the benefits where, you know, I get to spend more time with my children because I do work from home. So at 1 o'clock I'll be dropping Regan to nursery and then I can come back and then get on with some more work, and then while she's breastfeeding I maybe do payments. It's a bit sort of chaotic, but, you know, we make it work. Love you.
And things aren't going to get any calmer for Kelly, as the time approaches to finally speak honestly and openly about the band's past.
There's so many issues to sort of work through. It's going to be really weird. Just being in the same room is going to be weird, and I am nervous about that.
Having entertained millions, lead singer Esther, who was briefly married to Boyzone Shane Lynch, has turned her back on the celebrity lifestyle.
Good morning, Miss Barr. Esther speaking. How may I help you?
Working in a top London hotel spa, the single mum and beauty therapist has swapped deafening screams for depilatory creams.
I needed normality in my life because being in the industry, you're travelling from one country to another, not knowing sort of where you are from one day to another, being given a schedule. As a contrast, it's just heaven, really. There have been occasions where people have noticed me and I'm like, okay, what do you do? But they're not really 100% sure. Is that Esther? Nah, she's not working in this hotel. And I'm like, great, because they've kind of taken a second look.
Like her younger sister, Vernie has also shunned the spotlight and found happiness raising a family with husband Brian.
My kids have not known any of what I've done, which is bizarre because they look at me as just mummy, and everybody else that knows what I've done look at me differently. Yes, Aves. Yes, absolutely do that bit. So I've also got to consider them and their lives when I go back into the industry, because then there's, you know, the press that follows that, and I do worry.
But how will putting her apron aside and stepping back on stage affect the family?
You want me to go back to work?
Can't wait.
Oh, really? Why?
I've been waiting 12 years.
Really?
No. I think you've done a fantastic job with the kids. But I think for your own sake, it's probably time that you've done a bit of that kind of work, because you've just been so busy raising these two. I get that, you know. I go back to work on a Monday just for a rest, because the weekends these kids kill you, you know.
Next time, as the Eternal Girls reunite, it seems the door's still slightly ajar for Louise.
What are you doing, woman?
Well, I'm just saying there could be a number 4 right here.